So, when you think about a person in World War II, who do you think about? What weapons do they have? They have rifles, maybe machine guns, maybe a pistol, but not this guy. He used a longbow, a Scottish broadsword, and bagpipes to fight throughout the war. His name was Jack Churchill. I just want to talk about the history of Jack Churchill and just some major events I want to talk about. Dunkirk, his time as a commando, and just another town in Pugoli. So, one of the major events is Dunkirk, and when at his time as Dunkirk, he was charging in through the beaches with the sword, and this is him right here. And later, he was awarded a declaration, and he was questioned by the general about why he went in charging with his sword like a madman. He said, "In my opinion, sir, any officer who goes into action without his broadsword is improperly dressed." Another quote that I want to state is from the 4th Infantry Brigade, who wrote in his diary, "One of the most reassuring sights of the embarkation from Dunkirk was the sight of Captain Churchill passing down the beaches with his bows and arrows. His high example and his great work were a great help to the 4th Infantry Brigade." And while they were retreating from Dunkirk, his company, he had to take command because his commander was wounded. And while fighting back, he shot his bow and arrow and he killed a Nazi soldier, and he's the only one to do it in the war. The next one I want to talk about is the Commandos, and to give you background information, the Commandos were just a set of soldiers, a set of British soldiers that formed raids against the Nazi soldiers when the British were withdrawing from Europe in the 1940s. And one of the major raids that he did as a commando was when he led his men to a Nazi garrison in Vasko, in Norway, and it was successful. And basically, a garrison is just a fort. Another one that actually got him a lot of recognition was how he won his first designated service order for exploding Salerno landings. And basically, the mission of the Salerno landings was to just destroy these artillery so the Nazi doesn't use those artilleries for the Allies. And from the raid, from the Salerno landings, he got approximately 100 prisoners, 70 volunteers from POWs, and he sunk 15,000 tons of supplies that were for ammunition and for vitamins. Wow. Now I want to talk about this last one where he was going past his patrol, his company, when going through his area, and he got separated. And him and a corporal named Russell were going through, and they heard actually a noise, and under them was just a bunch of Nazis digging under, trying to get some tunnels around so they can have a tunneling system under some towns that they were going through. And with that, he saw a little light of a cigarette, and it was from a German outpost. So basically, what he did was he captured one of the Germans to put him as his captive, and he deceived every single one of the other people from the German outpost by giving them that false sense of reassurance from that captive. And in the end, he took 42 prisoners from that. And I just want to talk about his personal favorites, my personal favorites about his stories as a commando, as a soldier in World War II. But he did some other amazing things throughout his time, like how he escaped Gestapos, which were just guards from concentration camps. He also managed to save 700 Jews from Jerusalem, and he was an outstanding soldier. He was a bit of an extremist with his crazy tactics, his daredevil stunts with his war, and he was just an amazing person. Any questions?